I'm ready, Arya replied immediately. As soon as she spoke, two masked men entered the room. They were completely covered. One of them held some papers. They cleared the rats away, untied Arya's hands, and placed the document in front of her. As Arya read the conditions, her heart began to race. The first condition stated that she could never leave Rudraksh. The second demanded absolute obedience to his every word and complete respect for him. She was forbidden from raising her voice or arguing. Any disobedience would result in 2 days locked in a room filled with rats and lizards. Just imagining it made her shiver. The third condition gave Rudraksh full control over what she wore, ate, where she stayed, and where she slept. She had no right to oppose his decisions. The fourth stated that, apart from Rudraksh, she was not allowed to talk to or even look at any other man. Any friendship she had must only be with women. The fifth condition made her heart stop. Rudraksh could claim physical closeness whenever he wished, and she would never refuse. Arya's mind spiraled into chaos. She wanted to scream no, to refuse, but no one would listen. If she didn't sign, she would be left alone with hundreds of rats. With trembling hands and tears streaming down her face, she signed the paper. Inside, anger and helplessness burned together. This madman, I don't know what he wants from me, she thought. But even after signing, I won't give up. The moment I get a chance, I'll run away. I can't survive even a day with this psycho. When the men took the papers and prepared to leave, Arya pleaded, "Please untie my legs." "The keys are with the boss, ma'am," one of them replied before leaving. After a while, Rudraksh entered the room. Arya's face had gone pale, and there were visible injuries on her forehead, hands, and legs, marks he himself had caused. He untied her and said coldly, "Remember this punishment the next time you think of going against me. What I'll do next time you can't even imagine. Now go to your room." Arya tried to stand, but pain shot through her body. Somehow, she managed to get up and staggered back to her room. Once inside, she stood under the shower and cried uncontrollably. After some time, she turned off the water and faced the mirror. Her body bore marks of rat bites and bruises. "How long will I have to endure this?" she wondered silently. Just then, the bathroom door opened. Rudraksh walked in. Arya froze in fear, hurriedly covering herself with her hands. She was wearing nothing but undergarments. Rudraksh looked at her calmly and said, "I've already seen everything, sweetheart." There was no need to hide anything from him. Rudraksh stood very close to Arya, his presence suffocating. "Remove your hands, sweetheart," he said softly, but the tone carried a warning. Arya nodded weakly. The atmosphere around them felt unbearably warm. Rudraksh remembered the fifth condition written on that paper. As she removed her hand, he leaned closer, closing his eyes tightly. She took it. Her sudden scream echoed through the bathroom, vibrating inside him. Rudraksh stood there, unshaken. "I can't tolerate this much jealousy, sweetheart," he said coldly. "You talk big about your heart. Next time, remember your punishment before you forget your limits." Arya lowered her head. She didn't want to see the hatred in his eyes again. But nothing could ever be hidden from Rudraksh. He lifted her chin, forcing her to look at him. His grip tightened as he spoke directly into her eyes. "Hey, sweetheart, I've met many people in my life, but you are the strongest of them all. Anyone else would have broken by now. I don't see fear in your eyes. I see anger." Arya said nothing. Rudraksh looked at her for a moment longer, then walked out. She quickly put on her clothes and whispered to herself, "Who could be worse than a monster like you?" Rudraksh Singhania was not afraid of death, but living like this, slowly dying every day, was worse. That night, Arya lay on the bed and closed her eyes. Faces haunted her, Elena covered in blood, 2 innocent lives lost because of him. Her thoughts spiraled until she felt herself breaking. Later that night, Rudraksh entered the club with a glass of wine. Arav and Vihan sat beside him, staring. If you both keep staring for 5 more seconds, Rudraksh said casually, I'll pluck your eyes out. They immediately looked away. Brother, you're married now. Your anger needs control. What you did to your wife today was wrong.
Vihan added, She's human, not an object. She's innocent. Before he could finish, Rudraksh threw the wine glass across the room. She's mine, he snapped. Don't even look at her. The club went silent. That night, when Rudraksh returned home, Arya was asleep. He lay beside her without a word. The next morning, Arya woke up in his arms. His grip was tight, as if afraid she would disappear. She tried to move. Don't even try, sweetheart, his voice murmured. Forgot the 5th rule? Fear flashed in her eyes. I was just going to the bathroom, she said. Really? She nodded. Rudraksh loosened his hold. Arya rushed to the bathroom, breathing heavily. After freshening up, she sat before the mirror, applying moisturizer. Rudraksh lay on the bed, watching her reflection from the side. Damn, so hot, he muttered. He stood behind her. Arya stiffened when she saw him in the mirror. Her eyes accidentally traced his bare, muscular body. His hair was messy, his presence dangerously attractive. She knew it, the most handsome man she'd ever seen, hiding the soul of a monster. Suddenly, Rudraksh bit her ear hard. She gasped. If you keep looking at me like that, he whispered, I won't be able to control myself. Planning to cast an evil eye on my body, sweetheart? I wasn't staring, Arya said quickly. Really? She nodded. Rudraksh leaned down to her level, his cold gaze locking onto hers. He placed his thumb on her lips. Your lips are so soft, so delicious. He pressed his thumb harder and kissed her lips slowly. Arya let out a shaky sigh. It slipped out, her strawberry-colored lips now completely reddened. The sight made Rudraksh's throat go dry. Grabbing her hand, he pulled her closer and pressed his lips over hers, kissing her with fierce intensity. His hands roamed over Arya's body as if claiming it. Arya stood frozen, neither responding nor pushing him away. Rudraksh bit down hard on her lips, making them bleed. Then he sucked at the wounded spot, while Arya winced in pain. Leaving her lips, he buried his face in her hair, breathing deeply near her ear and sending shivers through her body. Your scent, he murmured, while running his fingers through her hair. What perfume do you use, sweetheart? It's intoxicating. I don't use any perfume, Arya said. This is natural. Without replying, Rudraksh continued stroking her hair, his hands still moving over her body. Suddenly he paused and said softly, Get ready to say my name. Arya lifted her eyes to him. Before she could react, her delicate lips were once again trapped by his. The marks from last night hadn't even faded yet, and he was already leaving new ones. He moved lower, pressing kisses to her bare stomach. Arya shut her eyes tightly and gripped the table for support. Rudraksh's lips trailed down her neck as he bared his teeth and sank them into her cleavage. Arya screamed in pain. He immediately kissed the bitten spot, his hands circling her waist possessively. Just then, Rudraksh's phone rang. Seizing the moment, Arya pushed him away, but that only angered him. He twisted her arm behind her back, making her cry out in pain. You seem to enjoy punishment, he said coldly, so do exactly what pleases me. No, it's not like that, Arya pleaded. Your phone was ringing, that's why I pushed you. He stared at her for a few seconds, then picked up the call and walked out onto the balcony. Arya sighed of relief, rubbing her aching arm and fixing her appearance. She was starving, but she couldn't step out without his permission. Sitting down, she clutched her stomach. Nearly an hour later, Rudraksh returned, ready to leave. Let's go for breakfast, Arya said weakly. No, he replied flatly. You've stayed hungry all day. You'll stay that way. She looked at him in disbelief. He lifted her chin and said, This is your punishment. Don't push me again. Please, I'm really hungry, she whispered. Go to the balcony, get some air, and before you step out again, remember yesterday. With that, Rudraksh left for his office. Arya felt dizzy with hunger and weakness. She sat holding her stomach, too afraid to leave the room. Drinking water again and again, she finally lay down on the bed and soon fell asleep. But even there, she wasn't safe. In her sleep, she saw a man standing before her in the mirror. She turned back screaming, only to be struck on the head with a decorative object. Blood began to flow as she collapsed beside the bed, her already injured forehead throbbing in agony. Crying, she tried to stop the bleeding. "Who are you? Please let me go."
She ran toward the door, screaming for help, but the man shoved her back. "Scream all you want," he said cruelly. "No one will hear you, and if anything leaves this room, it'll be your dead body." Arya backed against the wall, raising her trembling hands. "Please, who are you? Why do you want to kill me? What did I do to you?" The man removed his mask. Arya froze in shock. It was Cutler, the same man who used to come to her house before. She slapped him hard, making his head turn as a sharp ringing filled his ears. Grinding his teeth, he said, "You took my daughter away from me, and you ask what went wrong? Because of you and RS, my daughter is dead. I lost her, and now you'll pay for it. Just like I suffer, you will too. Only then will my daughter's soul find peace." "Uncle, you're mistaken," Arya cried. "It doesn't matter to me whether I live or die. I was forced into this life." Cutler laughed bitterly. "Do you think I'm a fool, that I'll believe you?" He fired the gun. Arya screamed. Cutler burst into mad laughter. Gasping, Arya slowly opened her eyes. She was unharmed. The bullet had struck the wall. Turning her head, she froze again. Cutler stood inches from her face, the gun pointed straight at her. "I love seeing fear on your face," he said softly. It felt as though, sooner or later, she would face the same terror again. The husband stood in front of RS, gun aimed at his face. To avenge his daughter's death, he had killed his own wife. Now, placing the gun against his own forehead, he said coldly, "Get ready to die. This time, I won't miss." Before anyone could react, a bullet was fired. Arya was shot. Her eyes slowly closed, her head tilted to one side, and her body collapsed. Blood rolled down and splashed across the wall, staining the room red. The splatter was everywhere. Then, silence. A terrifying, suffocating silence. Suddenly, the sound of screeching shoes echoed through the room. Rudraksh entered, followed by Arav and Vihan. "What should we do with this now?" Rudraksh asked calmly. "The same thing we do with the rest of the corpses," Vihan replied. At his signal, the guards stepped inside. The next morning, Arya lay motionless on the bed, like a corpse. Then her eyes snapped open. A blood-covered face appeared in front of her. Cutler. Terrified, she tried to move back, but her body wouldn't cooperate. Then she realized she was standing at the edge of a ditch. From behind Cutler, Elena stepped forward, her face bleeding. "All this happened because of you, Arya," Elena hissed. "Now you'll die too, just like us." She pushed Arya. "No!" As Arya fell into the ditch, she looked up and screamed. Her eyes flew open again. She was on her bed. Her face and sheets were soaked with sweat. Gasping for breath, she slowly looked around in panic. With trembling hands, she picked up the glass of water beside her and drank, but her hands shook so badly that water spilled everywhere. She pulled at her hair, shut her eyes tightly, and memories flooded back. Yesterday, Cutler had been about to shoot her when a bullet hit him from behind. His face had collapsed against Arya's neck before his body fell. Blood splattered across the wall. Rudraksh Singania and the others had been there. All of them. Arya had fainted in shock. Cutler was dead too. Oh God, how many innocent people have died because of me? Just then, the door opened. Rudraksh walked in. "You're awake," he said softly. "Good morning, sweetheart." Arya glared at him. "What's so good about this morning because of you? Another innocent person lost their life, Rudraksh." In a second, his hand wrapped around her neck. "I seem to have forgotten who you're talking to, dare you. How many times have I told you not to raise your voice in front of me? Do you want to be punished again?"
Arya silenced instantly. That's better, my good girl. I didn't kill anyone. You did. If you had listened to me and not gone with that girl, she'd be alive. Cutler, too. I'm not responsible for those deaths. You are. He screamed like a madman.
It's not me, Arya cried. You killed them. Don't you remember how that man screamed when you shot him? She covered her ears, sobbing, as the screams of Elena and the club echoed in her mind. Rudraksh watched her and smiled. He hadn't tortured her physically, he had broken her mentally. Slowly, he pulled her hands away from her ears. Arya collapsed into his arms, crying uncontrollably. He placed a hand on her shoulder. This was exactly what he wanted, to be her only refuge. When her sobs finally subsided, he pushed her back slightly and wiped her tears with his thumb, rubbing harshly until her fair cheeks turned red. "Don't cry for anyone else, sweetheart," he said. "I don't like it." Looking deep into her eyes, he continued, "Tears, anger, pain, everything in you should exist only because of me." Arya shook her head weakly. "Now go freshen up," Rudraksh said calmly, "and cook for me. Today I want food made by my sweetheart." Arya obeyed. Later, she served him breakfast. As she stood beside the table, Rudraksh pulled her onto his lap. She stiffened. The servants were watching. Her eyes dropped in embarrassment. He pinched her waist. "When I'm here, why are you paying attention to others?" he asked. "Now feed me, with your hands." Her hands trembled as she obeyed. When she did, Rudraksh bit her finger. A sob escaped her lips. And the cycle continued. If it is there, then it becomes uncomfortable. The dress It was very beautiful, but it had no Rudraksha beads. The wounds inflicted were clearly visible. She comes out so the makeup artist would be surprised to see her. She goes. A girl speaks, "You look so gorgeous, madam. You need makeup." "There is no need for it. You are so naturally beautiful." Then the makeup artist's notice falls on the wounds on her body, seeing whom she trembles and everything becomes clear. But she couldn't help her because it would mess with RSS. He did not have the courage to take it. Both makeup artists start doing her makeup. Arya used makeup on Arya's body made the marks were also hidden. In a while, Arya was completely ready. Both girls go outside. Rudraksh comes inside, which Arya would stand up from her place as soon as she saw him. Rudraksh looked at her thin, long legs. It stops on Arya's thigh. Arya wore a black one-shoulder-long gown, in which her entire stomach was visible. The dress had a long cut at the bottom, which used to stop on Arya's thigh. One of her legs was clearly visible. Silver high heels worn on her feet made her even hotter and sexier. She was making it. Just by looking at him, Rudraksh gets an idea. Many eyes were on her beautiful, sweet heart, who she is absolutely not going to be able to tolerate. Thinking of this, his eyes become cold. He hugged Arya tightly, holding his shoulder, and says, "Whom did you wear this dress to seduce?" Arya groans in pain and says, "You gave me this dress." Rudraksh leaves her. "Sorry, sweetheart, you look so beautiful that I forget everything." Hearing this, Arya felt like abusing him thousands of times. Just then, Rudraksh unravels her hair in a bun, and burying his face in her hair, "Your scent always drives me crazy," she makes it. "Sweetheart, remember all the rules well. There is no need to look at any man either. If this happens, I will gouge out your eyes." Arya trembles after hearing this, but trembling, she says, "I will not see it, but if someone else saw me, I would—" The words remain in his mouth, because Rudraksh was looking at him in a scary way, staring at him. He came close to her ears and speaks in a low but dangerous voice. "If this happens, it will happen before your eyes. Cut him into pieces and feed them to the crows." Arya's hair stood on end after hearing this. Arya thinks to herself, "Whatever may happen, today again someone is hurting because of me.
No one will die because in this dress I will definitely attract everyone's attention. Oh God, help me. Now I don't want to be the cause of some death. Rudraksh bites his ears and says, "In whose thoughts is the sweetheart lost?" Arya, otherwise, let Rudraksh meditate upon him. It was on the lipstick-stained lips that he considered his Rudraksh was attracting towards him. Let me remind you one more time before I leave that I have the sole right over your body. Saying this, he presses her lips with his lips. It captures it and takes him back and puts it against the wall. Ah, from Arya goes out. That Rudraksh kiss himself stays here. Arya tightens her dress. She catches it. Then Rudraksh, placed on his hands, hold his head in both his hands, puts it on top. Rudraksh, to her lips, bites while sucking, and then retreats. Arya, with her hand on her chest, starts taking deep breaths. Her lipstick and hair were messed, but this messy Arya looks even hotter. Rudraksh, fixing her hair, "I feel like doing a lot of things, sweetheart, but also have to go. No one, after all, will do this." She wipes it with tissue paper. He wipes off her lipstick and leaves, holding her hand. He goes. Both get into the car and the driver turns on the partition. Rudraksh makes her sit on his lap and starts kissing her neck. Thanks for watching this. See you in next part. Love you guys, and please like this video and subscribe.